Hey people, it's the Gamer here, and welcome to another edition of Shitty Development featuring Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. Apparently the first video I made, people were more interested in crapping on and shitting on what I had to say rather than actually dealing with the broken aspects in the game that are completely and utterly broken that nobody bothers to explain. And to this point, nobody's still explained anything, but yet people say the game's so good. That brings me to the reason why I'm making this video, because apparently some idiot on the forum said, why don't you play the first game, because the developers assume that you played that and that's probably how they want you to go. Okay, there's two problems with that statement. First of all, the statement is stupid. And secondly, what happens in the first game is not going to help me get out of the first room in the second game. On top of that, in the second game, do you see any message anywhere on the screen from the developers that says, hey, we expected you to play the first one, so you might want to go do that before you play in this one? No, you didn't, so that comment's really dumb. So to get right into this, I'm going to skip through ahead. I'm going to skip to certain parts in this, and then I'm going to, put this together as in sections. And after I'm uploading one section, I'm going to make another section and then keep uploading them so we can clarify this. So I'm going to go into the tutorial. I'm going to click play, and I'm going to show you everything that's wrong with this. Now, for purposes of shortening this video, I'm going to skip to the point where you have a problem with this. First things first, this statement is saying that it's going to familiarize you with the basic rules and interface of the game, which is complete and utter BS. There is no explanation about the interface on any of this. So, let me continue. What this is basically saying, first of all, is how to micromanage. Now, obviously, this is explained because I'm explaining it, so people are like, oh, you didn't read. I read this perfectly, but I'm not going to sit and read nonsense on top of nonsense on top of nonsense with crammed-together wording, run-on sentences that don't have anything without any explanation on the interface. So this is basically saying micromanage. Pause the game with space, issue commands, and when you unpause it, they'll do stuff. That's what this is basically saying. So, pause the game, unpause it, then left click on him to talk to him. Now, here is where things start to get really screwed up. Okay, this just keeps getting more and more screwed up. So it's basically saying hostile NPCs have a red circle around them, and blue and neutral NPCs and friendly have blue circles under them. Period. Okay. Now, this is pointless because it's saying certain option settings can remove these circles during unpaused gameplay. That doesn't matter. That has absolutely nothing to do with anything, and there's no reason why they even said this, and there's no reason for this. They didn't bother explaining why you would even need to know this. So this whole sentence needs to be completely removed, unless there is a point to it, in which case they need to explain what the hell the point is, because there's plenty of space written right here to do that. So, now, I don't really care about that. So, interaction with NPC defaults to talk for neutral targets and attack for hostile ones. That makes no friggin' sense, and I don't know what that sentence means. Try rewording that in basic English so it makes sense on what the hell you're trying to say here. Talk to neutral characters, identify blue circles, and then left-click on them. Yeah, we've already established that if you want to talk to a regular NPC, make sure they have a blue circle onto them and left-click on them. Not that hard. To attack hostile NPCs, simply left-click on them. Okay, so basically, it said that already, so now we're doubling over what we're talking about with utter nonsense. If you want to attack on the neutral NPC, which can't be done because they just said they're not red, they're blue, select a weapon icon at the bottom of your screen and left-click on the target. So here's the first thing that they didn't explain about the interface. They're not even going through and walking you through what the hell select a weapon icon from the bottom of your screen even means. That's part of the interface. Weapon icons at the bottom of the screen, which saying, here is where this is, we're going to show you how this looks and everything else. So they didn't bother even explaining any of that, despite there's plenty of room. They didn't even denote what a weapon icon even looks like. Now, let's test this out. Left click on my servant and you start a conversation. So he wants you to start a conversation and then attack him. However that's done. So, left click on him. Now it's going to tell me right click on him to attack.
Well done. That was a good hit. Belt will talk with you now.
Okay, so now he's supposed to, this is supposed to automatically end and Belt's going to talk with me.
I now want to talk to you about the inventory page.
Okay, I can tell you right now, it doesn't explain anything on how to access the inventory page. Remember, interface, they said it was going to be explained. You can look at your inventory page by right-clicking on your character portrait. First of all, do not tell me to click on a character portrait if you're not going to say what I'm even looking for. That's a gibberish nonsense that doesn't belong here. There's plenty of room for you to explain it. Or by pressing the backpack icon on the left side of the screen, which they also don't denote. Useless information doesn't work. Take a quick look at your inventory page. When you tell me where I'm supposed to be clicking this stuff, instead of just saying do it on things that you haven't even identified yet, it's retarded. So to get out of your inventory page, simply press the return to game button at the top of your left screen. Top left of what screen? Once your inventory is open, on the main screen here, all of this. On top of which, again, there's no interface layout explanation about any of the icons, and none of the icons are even mentioned, despite there's plenty of room here. So, I don't care what anybody says. Well, how do you not know what their profile is? Because they didn't tell you what your profile is. You need to explain the profile, point it out, say, here it is, we're going to tell you this, now do this. Without any of that, you have not told anybody about the interface, despite you guys saying that you have. Now it's before it's even done it, now it's automatically saying equip items by placing them in the appropriate slots around the character on the inventory page. So now it's telling me to do things on there before I even have it open. Don't know anything about it. Now all of this information is just going in one ear and out the other. I have no idea what they're talking about. I know what it's saying to do, but you haven't even gone into the inventory page first, which they haven't gone because despite them saying they're going to do the interface layout, they haven't. Once equipped, now they're going into a bunch of worded text that have nothing to do with anything. And now they're talking about green boxes and character's hand in an orange box to indicate combat mode and everything. They didn't even go over combat with you yet, and they're talking about combat and everything else. So this is a bunch of run-on gibberish that makes no sense. Once equipped, select the weapon by left click. What weapon? They didn't even bother explaining the interface layout. None of this can be followed. Now they're talking about quick weapon slots. First, they're talking about backpacks, icons, things that they don't explain to you what any of this stuff is. Then they're telling you to do all sorts of stuff without having you go over it. It's like you're magically supposed to know. And then instead of explaining the interface layout, they keep cramming more wording at you before you can even do it. Now I'm totally lost. I have no idea what this is saying. This is impossible to do without the interface layout being explained first, or as you go along, denoting where the interface and icons are, which they haven't done yet. I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to give you a weapon now and I want you to try to equip it. I can't equip it because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and you rambled off a bunch of stuff at me instead of pausing the game or stopping the game and have me go through it step by step by step by step with, have arrows on the screen pointing what you're talking about. Show me what you're talking about. Well, it said this. I'm not going to get into debates with people. This isn't explained, and I'm not going to do it until they do it. Now, this is where I'm going to end this section of the video because it's going to keep probably popping this message up on the screen, despite it doesn't want to explain to you how to do it. You're expected to know how to do this? BS. I'm not going to do this, and I refuse to do this until somebody from the staff actually gets into voice chat with me without any crap and says, here, this is what this means, this is what this means, and it's all on them. They need to explain this because it's their game, and I'm not going to do a damn thing on the screen because I don't have the information to do it, and I don't care what anybody says about, well, the icon, it's obvious. Nope, they were supposed to explain it, and they didn't. So, that's the end of this segment. I'm going to continue making more of these as I go along and then posting them.